Welcome to the She Is Her podcast. I'm your host, Gabby Richmond. The She Is Her podcast was created to give women a voice as it relates to infertility, maternal health, and the birth experience. Today, our topic is fibroids. My guest today has a very inspirational story. However, and unfortunately, it's not unique. My guest today learned that she had fibroids. She decided to get a myomectomy, which was recommended by her doctors. And 1 year and 5 months later, exactly, she discovered that the fibroids grew back. Now, what's unique about her story and why she's here today is because she decided that she was going to take a different route and put her health into her hands. And so, without further ado, hey girl.
Hey girl.
Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are, what you do.
So I'm Keshaunia White, and I professionally.
Professionally, pageantry.
Oh
tell
yes.
everything.
So professionally, I work in HR with the United States Army, and I am also doing a pageant, the Miss Black International Ambassador pageant, and I won the state title for Maryland.
Yes. So I have my sister queen here. It's basically what she was saying too. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. Actually, we're going to talk about this 3-day fast that we've been on. I follow all these health pages on Instagram, and I came across this grapefruit and water detox, which is 3 days. The only thing you can consume is water and detox. Of course, my girl jumped in my DM. She said, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So we planned it out together. A couple days later, we said, we're just going to jump right into it and do it.
Yes.
How has it been for you?
It's been a struggle. A lot of it has been a struggle because at work, everyone likes to eat. Like we eat together like a family. So we'll go out and get food and they got food and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. But it's also been eye-opening because I've been praying and meditating a lot more.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I also feel like I've gained so much more clarity. My plan, if I'm honest with you, I was going to sleep most of the 3 days.
Like even when you
That was
suggested
my plan.
when you suggested to me to go to sleep, I'm like, wait, but I'm at work. I can't sleep.
But honestly, you hear these stories about the clarity you would get once you start cleansing, and I felt that. I was up until maybe 10 o'clock at night for the past 2 days being very productive. Like I was at the screen. I was hungry, but I was focused. And I don't know if I've felt that lately in the past without me focusing on food. I can remember times where I was sitting at my desk and I'm hungry. And I would just go venture off and eat and drink and indulge, and I'd probably come back sleepy and tired. So yeah, me and my girl, I'm so proud of us because it's honestly bigger than just doing a challenge or anything like that. What we understand is, and what I think a misconception is women in the reproductive system. It has a lot to do if your reproductive system, are you suffering from fibroids, it deals a lot with what you're consuming. How's your gut health? Are you drinking water? Are you detoxing? So yeah, I'm very, very proud of us.
Me too. I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it.
But we're making it.
You made it.
And so, last question before we jump into the episode. What's going to be your first meal tomorrow?
Tacos.
What kind of tacos, though?
I want mushroom tacos.
That's right. That's mushroom tacos, y'all. Mushroom tacos taste just like meat tacos. You just throw a little seasoning on it.
Yes.
And you know what you're doing in the kitchen? It tastes so good. So eating healthy can be fun. It can be good. And so let's jump into why we're here.
Okay.
Run me through your story. Run me through back when whatever made you go in. What made you go and get a checkup? Was it your annual? What was it?
So my husband and I were stationed in Pensacola, Florida. He's in the Air Force. And he noticed that I was sleeping a lot. I was just really sluggish, and I had like a hard bulge in my stomach because he's usually all over me. But so he's like, something is wrong. Like, you need to go to the doctor. It was really my husband who said I needed to go to the doctor. And that plays into how we as women normalize certain symptoms.
Yeah.
Like, I had heavy bleeding, extreme fatigue. I had a lot of stuff going on that I normalized. And my husband was like, no, that doesn't seem right. So you need to go to the doctor. So I went to the doctor and they took an ultrasound. And my doctor in Florida only saw 2 fibroids on the ultrasound. So I'm like, okay. Her first suggestion was birth control. And honestly, I've never taken birth control a day in my life because I know how it plays with your hormones. So I told her no, and she said, okay, we will do an open myomectomy for you. But it was in between the time where we were getting stationed up here in Maryland. So I didn't have the myomectomy down there. I came up here.
Tell them what a myomectomy is.
So an open myomectomy is when they cut you on your bikini line and they go in and take the fibroids out like a C-section. So, and mind you, I had never had a procedure done before. So I was completely scared out of my mind. But we came up here to Maryland, got with another doctor, and she also suggested the birth control. And I told her no. And so we go through with the open myomectomy, and when I come out in recovery, my doctor says, I thought you had 2, but when we went in, we found 4. So there were 2 that were 8 centimeters, about the size of a grapefruit, and then 2 were 4 centimeters.
Wow.
Yes. So
do you guys realize the size of a grapefruit? It's ironic we're only consuming grapefruits, but grapefruits are larger than an orange. Do you understand how big that is? What kind of pain came along with that? I know you said the fatigue, but did you have any pain with those fibroids?
Yes, I had abdominal pain, and when I had my period, I would pass clots. And I would always get a severe migraine before every period. So those were the painful effects of the fibroids. And I also went to the bathroom frequently because she told me that some of them were pressing up against my bladder.
Wow. Okay, so you get the myomectomy, right?
Oh, yes. And it took 2 months to fully recover. The questions that I get actually a lot online are about the recovery. The recovery it's kind of brutal because you go from being so independent, I can drive, I can go to the store, to not being able to do anything. And I couldn't walk for longer than 10 minutes a day. And then right when I came out of recovery, my stomach felt like it was like a bowling ball was in it. It was so heavy. And I walked like,
Why is that?
my doctor told me it's because when they do the procedure, they blow your stomach up, pump it up with air, I think. And so they can see. So that feeling just stays with you for a couple of weeks after. Another thing that was really hard in recovery was my breathing. Every morning when I woke up, it felt like something was sitting on my chest. So they sent me home with this breathing device so you can exercise your lungs every morning. So that's what I did.
What does this have to do with your lungs? I'm very curious.
Well, when they put you to sleep, they put a tube down your throat. So I'm sure it must.
What the? Wow.
Yeah. They put a tube down my throat.
That's intense.
It's very intense. Like, it was hard to breathe sometimes, and that heavy feeling in my stomach had me hunched over.
So, okay, after recovery, was life normal?
So life was better than normal. I can't lie. After I fully recovered, my periods went from being 7 to 9 days to 3 days.
7 to 9.
4 days at the most.
Wow, okay.
And my periods went from very heavy to light.
Okay, so that tells you that the fibroids had a direct correlation on your menstrual cycle. Okay, that's awesome. Actually, that's awesome. And so talk to me about the diet. This episode is sponsored by Cure Leaves Tea Company. Enjoy whole, rich, and flavorful tea sourced from the motherland. This tea invokes all of my senses, and I mean it. You can purchase yours at www.cureleavestea.com. Now, back to the show.
The diet during recovery or after?
Talk to me about the diet beforehand, and then talk to me about if you changed your. Did they even ask you what you were eating? Did they suggest to you that maybe you should do a diet change to keep the fibroids from coming back? Did they?
So prior to my procedure, my diet consisted of Chick-fil-A, pizza, just the standard American diet, which they call the SAD diet.
I've heard that.
So I would pretty much eat anything any regular American eats, burgers, pizza, fries, and all of that. My first doctor did not well, the doctor who did the procedure for me, she did not suggest a diet change for me.
Okay. All right. And then it makes sense, right? Because sometimes they just never do. And I'm not sure if it's because honestly I'm not sure honestly if because they're unaware, or are they in a business of keeping you coming back? I'm just being honest. I'm just really not sure. I think it's mind blowing when I'm going to digress just a little bit, because from other women's experiences and even my experience at times, you go and the more I've learned how important the food, if you drink liquor, the salt, the sugar, that feeds the cysts or the fibroids or whatever you have going on. So my thought is, as a doctor, who got their degree, who got their master's and got their doctorate, did they not teach you that in school?
I don't know.
It's so big and such a fact that I'm confused on why that is not a part of the protocol or the precautions or preliminaries before we say, let's go and get you a myomectomy. Let's go schedule you a hysterectomy.
We know that it's a big business. Farm is a big business. You want to make money, you want to have people on medicine. If everyone's healed naturally, no one is buying medicine. No one's going to the pharmacy to get their prescription filled. So I don't know.
So I just wonder, I just have that question. I just wonder, are you intentionally withholding pertinent and information?
And I can't say all doctors are like that, because my last doctor, when I went to go get the checkup, she suggested a diet change.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump back into it.
Okay.
You got the procedure. You were feeling the best you had ever felt.
Yes.
And you got moved, right? You and your husband.
We moved. So
Or what is the term for that? Restationed, or
we had already moved once I had the procedure. So we were here in Maryland.
you were here in Maryland. All right, so take me to the moment where you discovered that they grew back.
So I had a late period, and initially when people think late periods, they think pregnancy. I was like, no, I know I'm not pregnant. Something like my periods had slowly started to get a little heavier just on the first day. So I'm like, So I go to the doctor, and she says to me straight up, there's no way your fibroids grew back in a year. And I'm like, please, can you just give me the ultrasound? And she's like, let's do a pregnancy test first. I think you're pregnant. So here I am, and I'm just going to be completely honest. I am a woman who doesn't know if she can have kids. And this doctor is telling me, no, I know you're pregnant. It's not the fibroids. She's like congratulating me and things like that. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't even know if I can have kids. I don't want to get my hopes up. So I told her, I'll take the pregnancy test, but if not, I need this ultrasound. Took the pregnancy test, was not pregnant. Did the ultrasound. And that's a whole experience in itself. I went to get the ultrasound done, and the tech, she put the gel on my stomach and she put the device on there. And I swear, she goes, oh my God. Oh my God. And I'm just laying there, and I have tears just rolling because I'm like, what is she seeing? And she told me that the uterus is supposed to be smooth, and mine is not. She said it's riddled with little tiny fibroids.
She was able to know that through the device or the screen?
Through the device that it was connected to the screen, so she could see when she was moving around.
Oh, she was looking at the screen as she was moving the device. Wow.
So when she said that, I'm like, how many are there? And she's like, I can't even count them. But she could see 3 large ones. And the 3 large ones are about the size of the 4 centimeter ones that I had before. So I'm just like devastated,
Right.
because it just feels like even if I get the 3 removed, it'll just be okay. The next year, the other ones grew back. And they told me they don't really focus on the smaller ones. So, and I kind of felt like
Ooh, tissue time, guys. Tissue time.
I kind of felt like the tech, her like bedside manner was not the way she was just like, oh God, you have so many, you know. And it's hard because I asked her, you know, because I'm still learning about them.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I've heard people can still have children with them. And she was like, yes, you can, but you would be considered a high risk pregnancy. And I was already told when I had the open myomectomy that I'll never deliver vaginally because you run the risk of your uterus rupturing. So if I do have children, I always have to have a C-section. So there's that. And then there's the high risk pregnancy. And as someone who's never had children, that's scary. You know, I know we hear women say all the time, you know, women have been doing this forever. But
And how old are you?
I'm 35.
Okay, so I'm sure the viewers are wondering, okay, how old is she? Me personally, and what I've researched and what I know is that healthy, you can have a kid at 45, 50. So don't let the fact that you're 35 make you feel like you're on this super ticking time clock. So I just wanted to throw that out. I'm sure they were like wondering how old you were. Because maybe there's some other women out here going through the same thing in their mid-30s in the process of healing. It's just like, let's heal and then focus on the kid or whatever. So I just want to add that just so you knew, like, you still got time. Yeah. You still on God's time.
And I talked to my husband about having a baby and everything, and he said that he would be afraid to have them with the fibroids there. So it just makes you feel, I know womanhood is not just about being a mother, but it does kind of play on your womanhood a little bit when you feel like you can't.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. So I'm gonna brighten this up a little bit. Tell me what you've learned since this experience and what has made you pick yourself up and say, you know what, instead of going to schedule another myomectomy, I'm going to go the holistic route. Okay. And how is it going?
So I watch a lot of holistic videos anyway on YouTube. And I've heard stories of women, they drink certain teas or take certain herbs that shrink their fibroids and they're able to have children. I actually saw a video yesterday of a woman who had a 27 centimeter fibroid.
How big is that, a basketball?
Pretty much.
Literally 27.5, 28.5 is the men, or 29. That is literally the size of a basketball.
Yes, and she got pregnant. And the doctors were saying, you need to terminate this pregnancy until after we remove the fibroid. She said no. And
she probably had never been pregnant before.
I'm not sure, but she went through with it. And the doctors were afraid that they were going to lose the baby and her. Yeah. And but she made it through. So I just watch a lot of videos. I research. I listen to people's testimonies, like the woman you sent me, the Goddess Collection.
Mm-hmm.
I read her testimonies faithfully,
Yes.
like every day. There's so many women who say, after I drink your tea, I had a baby, or I'm feeling so much better. My periods are lighter. I just feel better.
Yeah. And what did you do last week? Tell the people.
I ordered my tea.
She ordered her teas, y'all.
I ordered my tea because I'm not gonna lie, the open myomectomy really helped me. It did help me, but I don't want to go through that again, and I don't want to keep going through it. And then I don't want them to tell me, okay, now it's time for a hysterectomy,
Right.
because that can cause issues in itself.
Yeah.
So, this doctor that I actually went to this last time, she did suggest me eating more fruits and vegetables. She's a Jamaican doctor. She was like, you know, if you don't want the surgery, I do suggest you doing fruits and veggies. I can't say that I'm all the way there yet. I go back and forth, but I'm hoping to get there so that I can heal myself, because I don't want to keep going under the knife.
Yeah. And there's so many replacements that I'm learning about that are healthy, and I think that you can incorporate into a balance or like a new lifestyle diet, but it's also tasty, or you can make it tasty with herb seasoning. So quinoa is great. I learned about spelt bread. Like if you were really just craving bread, it's the bread, y'all, just as it turns into sugar when it gets in your body. So it's just like eating sugar. Sugar, as I was saying before, salt, sugar, fibroids. If you think about the fibroid as a living thing, it needs something to eat to stay alive.
It's like a parasite.
It's like a parasite. So if you feed the parasite what it wants, it'll do nothing but get stronger, get bigger. And so to alleviate that is to almost like
starve it.
Starve it. So how do you do that? You avoid the white bleach flour, you avoid sugar, you avoid dairy, processed foods. One thing we've learned from the food group, like literally the food group, growing up, what did you learn on your chart in grammar school? They say, which is accurate, the protein, the carbs, and the fat. And by the way, I'm no doctor. However, I'm a researcher. The protein, carb, fat, right? And then when you get to protein, they say, well, how can you get protein? Chicken, fish, cheese, milk, or whatever, dairy. Get your dairy in. They literally have a category for dairy telling you to eat it. I'm here to tell you that that's wrong. It's wrong. It's literally wrong. It's not good. And I think even more so, I was on live the other day and I found myself going on a rant, and I even had a revelation when I was on live, because I realized you were talking about the generational curses, right? You said your mom has fibroids.
She had them.
She had fibroids.
She had
partial hysterectomy. And you almost feel like it's normal. Oh, my mom had this. My mom had cancer. This person died from cancer. Cancer is a disease. You know, how are we passing this down? I'm not sure if it's necessarily genetic. I think what we're passing down is the habits, the cultural eating habits, ways of cooking. So in our Black culture, what do? We gonna season that food.
Fish fry.
Baby, we gonna season that food.
Yeah.
We gonna see the salt. We're gonna season that food. Yeah. I don't think liquor is necessarily a cultural thing for us. Liquor is universal, and that was the last thing I didn't touch on. Liquor, terrible. All of it is so bad, and it's unfortunate. Yeah. Because now you have to unlearn these things. They're good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't drink often, you know, but I actually haven't had a drink. It's been a long time.
That's good.
It's been a long time.
That's good.
But it can definitely mess you up.
Look, okay. Tell us about your new lifestyle changes. I know you're on a journey, as we all are.
Yeah, so I do a lot of juicing, and I actually started doing it way back when I had my first myomectomy. I don't know if you see my TikTok. I have a bunch of juicing videos on there. I did a lot of
I'm barely on
juicing,
TikTok.
a lot of eating healthy. I do vegetables. I do sometimes eat fish or chicken, but I've been trying to cut back on that too. Because I mean, you can't beat the testimonies. You can say my doctor said this, that, and the third, but you cannot beat true changes in other people, their testimonies. You cannot beat that. And I've seen so many stories, especially on A Healthy Alternative on YouTube and Jillian Berry on YouTube. They do a lot of juicing, detoxing,
Okay.
and they interview people who go through the juicing and detoxing process. People are healing themselves.
Yeah.
They're healing themselves. But I'm not saying, don't go to the doctor. Definitely not
I
advocating for
think,
that.
yeah, I think the
But
doctor has his place though.
yes, absolutely.
I can't perform an ultrasound on myself.
No, no.
I can't do that. I can't do blood work.
But a lot of the things that mess us up, even whether it's mentally or physically, it does have a lot to do with our food.
Yeah.
Yep. So, like I said, I've been doing the juicing and doing a lot more eating healthy. My husband and I, we eat vegetables and like I said, chicken or fish, or sometimes I'll just have vegetables by itself and he'll have the chicken. Um, and we just really cut back on a lot. And I don't drink often. Like I said, I can't remember the last time I had a drink.
Good. Look, we are looking at a testimony in the making. You heard it here first. My girl will be healed.
Yes.
She will be fully healthy. And I hope you feel heard.
I do. Thank you for this platform.
You're welcome.
It's beautiful.
And that leads me into my next question. Talk about the times, or maybe not times, that you didn't feel heard with this situation. I know it's common for us to tell our significant others, but is this a popular topic with you and your friends on the phone?
Not really. And it's because they don't have fibroids. So it's something that they don't understand. I only had one friend who had them, and she had her surgery back in 2015. So I do talk with her, but in my entire friend circle, it's not something talked about as much. But I do have friends who said, I want to learn more about them. I didn't know that they were that serious, because they're so common. A lot of women live
Yeah.
with them, but there are
Yes, they
serious
do.
there are serious cases. So it's not a big topic in my friend group, but I have had friends reach out and say, I want to learn more about it.
Yeah. Is this something you would just throw on Facebook? These fibroids today, kicking my butt.
I ain't gonna lie, I do that now because after
your
I shared
platform.
my
Yes.
after I shared my
Yes.
surgery, when I say on TikTok, it was something that I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to be on here. But I shared my story on TikTok and it just exploded. Like women were DMing me, hundreds of women
Yes.
DMing me, asking me questions, saying I went through the same thing or I'm about to have surgery. What should I do? And it's just something that now I do share a part of my life, that part of my life on social media.
Yeah. Talk to the women who may be suffering in silence, similar situation maybe that you're in, and give them some encouraging words about why it's important not to suffer in silence, why it's important to share and be in community and speak up and free yourself almost from the.
So it's important to advocate for yourself, first of all. When you go to the doctor, don't let them tell you what you need to do if you're not comfortable with it. For instance, they told me birth control. I was not comfortable with that. What are the next steps? Ask add-on questions if you have to. Lean on your support system. If you have a spouse, if you have your parents, if you have friends, find a community on social media. That's what social media is for. If you're on Facebook, they have groups for everything nowadays. So get on Facebook, get in a group. A great organization is the Fibroid Foundation. They have different chapters all over the world. Really, they're an international organization. Find a chapter, go to the meetings. I've gone to some meetings and I'm working right now as a co-ambassador for the Baltimore chapter. So go to the
Nice. I
meetings.
didn't know that.
Yes, yes, it
Good
just
for
happened.
you.
Yes,
Good
so
for
go
you.
to the meetings and get in a sisterhood. There's something powerful about women sticking together. Get in a sisterhood, lean on each other, cry, laugh, do whatever you have to do to get those feelings out, because you shouldn't have to suffer in silence by yourself. Also, don't suffer in silence, because if you do that, they will grow. So you don't want that to happen. Yeah. So utilize the things that we have now, social media.
Beautiful. And okay, as we wrap up this episode, let them know how they can support you.
Money? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm on social media.
And I'm talking about her pageant. Look, she knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yes, you know how it is with the sponsorships
Yes,
and
she's like,
fundraising.
send me some money, please. Thank you.
No, I'm kidding. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. I don't have Facebook anymore. It's been like 8 years.
Oh, wow.
But Instagram, TikTok, Shauna the Great is Shauna with an I. I know that's weird, but Shauna.
Go ahead,
the
spell
Great,
it.
SHAUNIATHEGREAT. Shauna the Great. And you can just support me by following me, and I will follow back. And anybody, you can reach out to me if you have fibroid issues or any type of reproductive issues. My platform is Womb Love, LUV. And LUV stands for Listen, Understand, Value. We listen to women's stories. We understand the story, because I just told you mine. And value, because a lot of women feel they lose their value when they have reproductive issues. And we want to restore that through education and empowerment.
Beautiful. Do you guys know that, before we wrap up, a cool story about how we met? She found, for those who don't know, I am a photographer, and she found my company's business page, and she sent in an inquiry form. She filled out the inquiry form, and when we were emailing about scheduling her headshot session that she wanted to do for the pageant that she was about to enter in, I was like, oh, cool, I'm a pageant queen. This is my Instagram. And she was like, oh my God, I follow you already.
Yes.
And I was like, how cool. So when she came and I did before we started the headshot session, we had a similar conversation, and I felt inclined to give her the real about what she was about to embark on as far as pageantry. And I want to say you mentioned to me your platform, and I don't think you had shared your story. I don't know if you shared your story public just yet.
At that point, yes.
You did.
On TikTok.
On TikTok, got you. Well, all I know is that when I was on your Instagram, I just saw after you got your headshot, you did it, your content changed. I was so inspired. She was openly sharing. She was owning her new platform. And just to sit across from her today and hear her mission and to hear how clear she is on what she's doing, I literally have chills.
Oh.
Because I feel like there was a time I met you, and then and like you've ordered your tea, you're really on this journey, and it makes me feel so good that I can be a part of your journey, and to know that I had any bit of inspiration for you to get the permission. If you needed permission, like, yes, you should be doing this. Yes, you have purpose. Yes, do it. Yes. And so
You have inspired me so much. Just being the beautiful pageant queen that you are, your photography, the tea, like you shared the teas with me, knowing me for 2 hours. Like she knew me for 120 minutes. You shared the tea with me, and your spirit is just so beautiful. And I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful.
Me too. I feel like I have a sister queen. I feel like I have a new friend. I'm excited to share a purpose with you, and just who knows where we'll be in a year.
Yes.
So.
But in a few days, we're going to get them tacos.
She said she was going to stay up until 12 to eat. I said, girl, don't do that.
No, I don't do that.
But I was telling her that I might break my fast with some sea moss that myself and my partner got from Jamaica. And so maybe I'll, you know, a girl can dream. That sounds real lovely. I just don't know how tomorrow will go, but that is my dream. And thank you again for coming on the platform, sharing your story so openly, being vulnerable, and just being a light.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
No problem. All right, y'all. Well, we will see you on the next episode. Bye.